I have to say that I failed because my mind, my so-called rational mind, had became in harmony with the tempter who tapped into my starvation, who was my area of starvation inside. And it leaned mostly upon my demonic component and not my righteousness. However, as I was moving forward and I had made up my mind that I was going to side with that demonic presence that was sitting up inside of me, and I was just going to go and steal something that I may be able to survive, the Creator saw mercy on me and compassion on me, sent this brother. It sent this brother to me. And he saved me from myself. So the whole thing is, Yeshua was able to wait, and he didn't fall under the powerful influence of his demonic dual component inside of him, which was connected to his starvation after he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He said to that demonic presence, "Man shall not live by bread alone." So the reason why I said that I failed that, but the Creator showed mercy on me by sending this brother to me to show me, even though you failed and you were getting ready to risk your freedom, I understand your struggle. I understand your challenge. And so I'm sending this brother to you to give you food that you may not have to suffer so much because you were betrayed. And due to the fact that you were betrayed by her, you were put in the position to where you had to betray self because you leaned upon the demonic presence inside of you, and you were tempted by way of starvation to compromise your moral standards. So this is why I said we are responsible for the conscious decisions that we make. The environment, the situation is cultivated around us by circumstances, whether they're good or bad. And despite what is presented to us in terms of the way that we perceive things within these circumstances, good, considered good or bad, whichever one of those we choose, it is still the direction that we made up our minds to consciously venture into. I decided to do a follow-up video on the previous subject on how, regardless of what we're going through, whether it's perceived as someone betraying us, doing us wrong, or whatever the case may be, we are responsible for how we choose to respond to all of those things. Our conscious decisions are what's going to determine our reality. So there's really no excuse for us. We can't point the finger at anyone and what they're doing. Because when it all comes to it, life is full of challenges. Now, when people say life is full of challenges, what a lot of us misunderstand is that we perceive things in terms of the environment and what happens around us in terms of the challenge. There's always someone challenging you. There's always a circumstances that comes up which challenges you. It's more so internally. No matter what transpires in the environment, how we choose to respond to it intellectually, spiritually, and morally is based upon our conscious decisions, regardless of what goes on. When I was in Georgia, as I said before, dealing with this woman, Salam Yilma, she wasn't the only challenge out there for me. I had a lot of challenges out there, dealing with a whole lot of very immensely wicked and rude people who said certain things to me, who sabotaged a lot of efforts that I tried to accumulate so that I may be able to get back here home in Las Vegas. There were a lot of things said to me of where if I would have reacted, I wouldn't be here in Vegas. I'd be in a prison in Georgia, a place where I absolutely despise. And I'm going to deal with that as well. But during the entire challenge and the entire trial out there existing in Lithonia, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, I knew that the only challenge, in fact, was me, myself, and how I decided and how I chose to respond to things instead of reacting emotionally, in spite of how I felt that certain individuals deserved violence from me. And my type of violence is very intense. But by me knowing myself so much, and that area of myself, that dark area of myself, of where there is immense violence, I read into that immense violence, and I knew that there's no compassion there. There's no caring there, and there's no compassion there. So when I read that of my dual component, which is that dark side, that very violent presence there, when I read that, I understood that that would not be beneficial to me, because my objective was to get back home. And I knew that no one out there in whom I was dealing with deserved my violence, because I didn't deserve the outcome of it. And so I made very wise, conscious decisions of what to do as well as not to do, based upon the dual components that lived inside of me. In spite of what the people were saying, in spite of what the people out there were doing, I understood that the decisions that I made was that which was going to determine my reality out there. So when I was out there in Georgia, I made a lot of wise decisions in spite of being put under duress, humiliation, mockery, all of those things. Because I knew that unless she is walking with me, if she's not walking with me, which is wisdom, study the book of Proverbs, because the Creator gave the entity of wisdom a female gender, which implies the feminine nature of God carries a lot of wisdom, a lot of compassion, and a lot of guidance, good guidance. Now, the masculine side of myself that wanted to just knock people out, I knew that at that point in time, that wasn't going to be beneficial to me, because of what, as I said before, what was being done to me and the betrayal that I suffered after giving up everything and going out there for what is called love, which is I'm starting to find out has a very demonic presence in it. You're going out there to try to get your life together, to try to get married and everything, and you go out there and you find out that you were just manipulated and persuaded to give everything up in your life in order to come out there, in order for someone to try to use you, and simply because they wasn't able to use you, then they tried to abuse you, tried to humiliate you, tried to mock you, to the degree that this day, because of what she did, she has nothing. She lost everything, her place and everything. And you know, it's like the Bible says, if you live long enough, when justice comes, thou shalt see it, or thou shalt hear of it. So, when it all boils down to it, our conscious decisions is what determines our success or failure. So when I was walking down that street, the reason why I appreciate what that Jamaican brother did for me is because my mind was made up to do something that was going to very much cause my life a lot more complicated than it was currently. However, the Creator sent that man to service my hunger and to get my mind back to where it needed to be. So for a man to be in the desert and in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights without food, shelter, and water, and him being able to maintain his righteousness and morality, I felt that was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And it explains the reason why the Creator had used the word well pleased in referring to Yeshua. This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. Because Yeshua was able to wait at a certain time. And in that particular area, I failed in that particular area. And due to the fact that God had mercy on me, because God is the all-knowing and the all-wise and the all-seeing, God also understood that in spite of the decision that I made, the possible circumstances of that, I didn't deserve that. Regardless of who did what to me, the Creator saw favor on me and obviously had said he doesn't deserve what he's getting ready to do to himself. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to send this man to commune with him, to prevent him from destroying himself. See, there's a lot of times to where God is looking down on us. And after we've made our minds up to do something, a lot of times the Creator looks in on us and says, you don't deserve that. Even if we feel as though we don't deserve it. We're feeling on a whole nother level. I deserve something to eat, so I'm going here and steal something because I need to survive. And so the Creator is looking down on that. Yeah, you do deserve something to eat, but not like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to touch the heart of this brother. I'm going to guide his eyes towards you. And I'm going to inspire him to service your starvation, that you may not destroy yourself. So our conscious decisions, regardless of what people say or do to us, is that which determines the outcome of our lives. Regardless of how much pressure you're under, regardless of how much the betrayal feels in your emotions and how it transmits visuals to your mind of some of the things that you wish that you could do. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. It still does not justify compromising your moral standards. You have to wait, like the book of Psalms, I believe it's chapter 137. You have to wait on the Lord and do good, so thou shalt dwell in the land. Dwell in the land of freedom, not a jail cell. It's all about our conscious decisions. And a lot of times our conscious decisions work out for us. As long as our minds and our hearts is in the right place, God is going to look down on us and say, well, his heart and his mind was in the right place even when he decided to come here. Now, even though he was met with betrayal, humiliation, and mockery, he's still not out here trying to hurt anyone. This is his second day of going without food, which implies for 2 days straight, he was trying to endure. You get credit for endurance. And then once I got to the point to where I felt as though I can't go on like this. And because of those type of demonic thoughts in my head, and my personal endurance period had ran out, my mind had concluded on doing something in opposition of my moral standards, just in order to service my organism, because I was starving. And when the Creator saw that and understood that, the Creator saw mercy and compassion on me and sent that brother in my direction. That's why I always talk about in my videos, we have to work together so that we will make the world a better place to live. The world, a better place to live, is based upon humanity. And the only way that the world is going to become a better place to live, we have to become better human beings. As Sir Krishnamurti has said, you are the world and the world is you. We have to look out for one another. And in the black community, it has become so dark. This whole grown man and grown woman, this whole grown thing has caused a lot of people in this corrupted and twisted community not to exercise any type of compassion and moral standards towards anyone. You see a brother out there starving, asking for a few dollars for him to get something to eat. You feel the need to tell this man when he asks you, hey bro, you got a couple of dollars so I can get something to eat? You feel this strong urge to tell him, you a grown ass man, get a job and feed yourself. And then when you walk away, you feel this sick sense of satisfaction. Oh, I had a chance to tell him that he a grown man. Well, you better remember, because if you had it to give him, then it wasn't yours anyway, because you were blessed to bless him. So that was an opportunity that you missed. And he missed an opportunity to get a meal because you're caught up in this worldly mentality, this grown stuff. So this community is in big trouble. A whole lot of the dialogue that's floating around out here in this world, it's not helping none of us. Whether you're the one using it or anyone who is become the victim of it because you're using it. So when it all boils down to, the purpose of this video is to remind us that regardless of what we're going through and regardless of who is putting us through it, we are responsible for the conscious decisions that we make. And so each decision that we make, whether it's under pressure, duress, or whatever the case may be, wisdom has to be present in order for you to make the wise, conscious decision so that the effects of that wise and conscious decision will be of a benefit to our lives, other than opening up the door to further suffering and chaos. With that being said, I'm going to let this go because I have a lot of things to do tonight. With that being said, everyone stay human.